Hello and welcome to tonight's ghostly tale. Tonight's ghostly tale comes from the Quayside in Newcastle. The Quayside along Newcastle has many pubs and clubs and restaurants, and it is as colourful today as it was well in the past. One of the pubs along the Quayside is the now shut Cooperage. This is a medieval building from the early 16th century. It is wood framed and it is only one of only a handful of buildings which survived the Great Fire of Newcastle from 1854. The Cooperage was a pub and it had many of Newcastle's waifs and strays, and the criminal fraternity used to drink there. They, they made this their home. Also along the quayside, there used to be the tradition of press gangs. Now, a press gang was a gang of men from the Royal Navy who would go along pubs and clubs to see if there were any men who would want to join them for their journeys on the royal ships. They would offer men the royal coin or the king's crown, which was some money, what would be offered. If you took this, then that meant you would go and become a sailor for however long the journey would be. Now, not many people would take this offer at the time because a sailor's life was not a very easy one. And the press gangs came with other ways of getting you to join. One of them was they would drop a coin into your drink when you were not looking. And then if you drank it, this they would say was that you have accepted the ground and then you would take them on board ship. This was why the tradition of beer tankards were made with glass bottles. So when you got your drink, you could lift it up to see if there was anything in the bottom. If there was a coin in, you would hand your tankard back to the barman and say, "Can I have another beer? This one's stale." And so you were not accepting the coin. The press gangs also, as their name said, would do other ways of getting you to join. They would wait outside in alleyways for drunks to come along, and then they would jump them, chucking bags over them, boarding them onto ships, bundling them onto the ships, and then by the time the men would sobered up, it was too late because the ships had already sailed, and so they were stuck on there until the next time they landed in port. The the press gangs were not very well liked around the area, and a lot of pubs and clubs would set up watchers to look out for them. The Cooperage did this, and high up on the roof, they had a person who would sit and watch for press gangs coming along. Now, the person watching, if they saw a press gang, would ring a bell to warn the people drinking at the pub that the press gangs are on the way. And they would shut the doors, and the people would give the people a chance to escape through tunnels and back alleys to get away from the press gangs. One such drinker was Henry Hardwick. He had said had been drinking in the Cooperage when press gangs had come along. He'd snuck off into the alleyway, but there was some more press gangers waiting in the alleyway. He was jumped, and although he started a fight, the press gangers got the better of him, gave him a real good hiding, and sadly he died from his wounds. Now it is said that the alleyway behind the cooperage, there is a figure of a man dressed in olden clothes, seen staggering and moaning coming along the alleyway, covered in blood, and this is said to be Henry Hardwick trying to escape from the press gangs. Another ghost story from the cooperage is of the unlucky watchman who was up on the tower watching out for the press gangs. It is said that one day the press gangers got sick of always being caught out, so this day they did a raid and they burst into the Cooperage, trying to grab as many people as they could. A lot ran, but they did get some, and then they went up into the tower, into the roof, and dragged the person out from the watchtower down. They beat him up and then took him and nailed him to the door outside the Cooperage. He stayed for a few days because the press gangers would not let anybody come near to help him take him down, because they were using it as a warning to others to give their game away. Now it is said that on nights when you walk past the Cooperage, sometimes you can hear the moaning and groaning of somebody, and sometimes you can hear them sounds as though the door is something is scratching at the door. This is said to be the watchman who was nailed to the door, trying to free himself from the nails. I hope you enjoyed that tale, and I hope that if the Cooperage ever opens up again, you maybe get a chance to visit it, and maybe you see some more of the ghosts what are said to haunt the Cooperage in Newcastle.